In this video, I'm going to show you how to put something on the wall that's centered. So I want this Punisher on the wall right here, and I want it to be centered between the top of this access panel, from the distance from here to the access panel, have that the same number as from the top of the Punisher to the bottom of the beam. Well, it's pretty easy now. You see it hanging on the wall, but how did I do that? There's a couple different things you need to do, and I'm going to try taking out as much of the math as possible just to make it easier. So I know I need to measure from here to here and subtract my Punisher from that. Once I do that, I divide that number by 2, and that'll be the space on the bottom and the space on the top. So simply doing it, if I measure from here to the top of the beam, it's 28 1/4. So I could say that 14 1/8 is the center of the Punisher, but that's the center. I want the space on the top and the bottom. Well, to get that, I'll take the Punisher. I'm going to hold this at 28 1/4, and the top of the Punisher is 14 3/4. What I just did is subtract the Punisher from those measurements. So at the bottom, 28 1/4. At the top, 14 3/4. Well, 14 3/4 is an easy number to divide by 2. All you have to do is multiply the denominator by 2. So half of 3/4 is 3/8. So half of 14 3/4 would be 7 3/8. So I know that if I put this up here, if I go 7 3/8, it's about 7 3/8 on the bottom. But how do I take care of where this bracket is? The bracket isn't all the way to the top. All I have to do is measure from 7 3/8 down, and it's about 8 3/4 to the center of my screw. So if I measure from the beam to the screw, that's 8 3/4. So I've already done all of the math without having to add anything. And then to get the width this way, I take the measurement here, which is 13 1/2. Half of 13 1/2 would be 6 3/4. So if I measure 6 3/4 and make a mark, measure back this way, 6 3/4 and make a mark, I'll put the screw in right between those two lines, and I know that I'm perfectly centered. And then when I hang this, it's centered top to bottom. Here the space and the space is equal, and then it's centered between the two sides. So I hope that helps.